Really do appreciate that, dude. You ready for some speedo runs?
Here we go!
I can actually explain the tricks. Well, I've been speedrunning this game for months now, since February. The Goose Tea? How's it going? Where are we at on the leaderboard? Well, technically, I'm the only one that's speedrunning this game with the current strats, but there's a lot of different categories for this game. I'm also a moderator for this game, so maybe things will change. But yeah, there's a lot of different categories. So for instance, defeat Pelvicor route is essentially the any percent. I have world record for that. There's 3 characters that you can play as. You can play as Alcedor, Axador, or Swordcedor, which is the guy that I'm currently using for one category. There's another one for Gardakin, and there's another one for Maxim Gun. I have the defeat Belphegor. You can play with all 3 of those characters, and they're all different categories in the run. I have world record for all of those. There's also defeat Abaddon and defeat Baphomet, which is the ultimate good and the ultimate evil of those runs. You can do all 3 of those runs with 3 different characters. There's also submit to Robert, which is what I'm currently doing. And you can do that with all 3 characters. There's also a casual and a classic mode. So you can do all of those categories that I just mentioned, both in casual and classic. So let's pretend that there's 5 different runs that you can do. You need to multiply 5 times 3 characters, which is, what, 15 categories? So essentially there's 15 categories for 3 characters, and that's the very first glitch that I just did. And all of the runs that I've done thus far, I'm first in every single one of them, but I have not done every single category in the game. I haven't done the ultimate good or the ultimate evil categories, and I have not done submit to Robert with Gardakin. On a run though, well, I'm basically the only person that's doing runs, so yeah, the run didn't pick up as much. The game didn't pick up as much as everyone would hope. So right there, I'm killing myself with the glitch that I just got in order to keep it night. The game has a day-night cycle. If you can find a way to kill yourself, that mini boss right there makes it daytime, but I killed myself during the boss, so it stays nighttime. The reason why you want it nighttime is to do this achievement right here. This is a good quest that you want. When it comes to submit to Robert, you want to have as little good morality as you can. So for instance, the game has good and bad morality. There is a good ending and a bad ending, obviously. If you want bad ending, you need to do bad things. If you want good ending, you need to do good things. And you need to do this one good thing in order to get this quest right here. So for instance, I did another glitch, which is having a menu up while moving. So whenever you talk to a merchant, you are stuck in place. But if you manage to press start at the same time when you talk to a merchant, then you unpress start, then you can move while having that merchant menu up. So for example, right now the game's telling me, do you want to buy this shield? And I say yes. Anytime you buy a shield or a power up, for instance, a spell, because it's essentially a spell, you have a mini cutscene, which you just saw me cancel out of the mini cutscene by immediately transitioning into another room. So I end up saving about 7 seconds from not having to see the cutscene. So now I'm handing in the quest of the Vagabond. This guy essentially asked me, there is a guy bothering people at a bridge, and he only likes to show up at nighttime. And so I showed up at nighttime, hence why I ended up killing myself during the glitch, and I told him that he can run away. Here, I'm giving money to the church, and then I'm opening the chest to steal from the church. So when you do this, this is one, by the way, you get negative morality every single time I open up the chest, and this is where I start counting. 2, I'll explain everything as we go. But I need to count to 17, and I can't forget that. So 3, if you want to count with me, you can. 4. I'll explain everything as we go, but I just need to do this. 5. If I talk during it, I'm gonna forget what number I'm at. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. So we gotta go up to 17. Now, this part's really boring, but it has to be done. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. Okay, so in case you're wondering as to what I was doing, for some reason, when it is nighttime, and only when it is nighttime, opening up that chest and then leaving, for some reason the chest stays closed. The chest is supposed to stay open when you open it once, and that's during the daytime, which is funny, which is the only reason why this route works. So if it's nighttime and you try and open up that chest, when you come back out and go back in, the chest will continue to stay closed. So again, every single time you open up that chest, you're getting negative morality. So for example, anytime you open up the chest without donating it to it, you get 75 gold and -2 morality. But if you donate to the chest, you have to donate 25 gold, and when you open it, you get -3 morality. So you get -1 morality more than you would if you weren't to donate to it in order to get negative morality, and you get 100 gold every single time you open up the chest. We need 200 gold by the time we get out of Dungeon 3, and that's the reason why I pick up 100 gold in the beginning, and then about half of it by the time I exit. So we get the remaining 50 to 60 coins, depending on how many coins you ended up picking up throughout the run from this point on forward until we end Dungeon 3. So the reason why we need to do that part right there, that part is part of the game. That mini boss, which is the first one that we ended up playing as. I'm gonna do this so I can be able to continue, but otherwise I wouldn't do it. You get the key for this dungeon. This is dungeon 1. All the dungeons have their own names, and so do the towns, but I don't know any of the names. If you look at my splits, it's got names on there, but that's pretty much the only spot where you'll look at where the name is located. And basically, that old man said something along the lines of, we need to destroy the bosses in order to get inside of the church that we were in front of, but that's for essentially the any percent, which is where Belphegor is located. We are not doing that. All we are interested in is submitting to Robert. In order to submit to Robert, you need to have 90 negative morality in order to be able to talk to him and get the final quest. So all we do in these dungeons is we just grab the power-ups that we need in order to move forward, and then we get the hell out, because we're not interested in anything else in the run. So essentially, this entire first part is just played like normal, right up until the very ending, which causes another glitch to happen. And I'll explain it as we go, because I can't really read chat, so if anyone's asking any questions, that's the reason why I'm not answering them, because I kind of need to pay attention to what's going on. So if you were playing this in Classic, this shrine right here wouldn't be there, because Classic don't have shrines in the middle of the dungeons. And this is another glitch right here. So if you get hit while using a shrine, you can move with those shrine options. So essentially, I have the shrine options while moving. And the option that you see right below me is the shrine asking me to use... Do I want to exit the dungeon? And I say yes. And when I say yes, this happens. I freeze in place as I'm picking up the Thunder Spell, which I need in order to get to Dungeon 3. And then I immediately teleport. So again, you're not supposed to be able to do this. You're supposed to turn back and then talk to the dungeon. But, you know, if you can get hit while talking to a dungeon, then you're good to go. So here's another glitch. Again, I get the menu, the shop menu, at the same time that I press start, which allows me to move with that said menu, and now I'm in trouble because I ended up taking damage to the dead chicken. It's not a really good showcase of a run if you die mid-run. I'm probably gonna die, by the way. Right here. Well, there's still 2 other shots to die in. But it'll let me explain this little part then. So this old man's telling me that he has problems with the vagabonds that are in front of his area, which is this guy. So the guy that I'm going to talk to is Robert, but this is not the Robert that we want to talk to. We want to talk to a different Robert. Robert asks, hey, do you want to join us for a drink? Or do you want to get rid of him? And you say you want to join him for a drink. And the reason why I wanted that shop menu is right here. So now I'm moving with Robert's menu. Now I'm moving with Robert's menu, so if I take another hit, I'm dead. Okay, so we can continue. So anytime you talk to someone, you are frozen in place, but again, if you close certain menus while talking to certain people, you can move with their dialogue. So the reason why we want to move with this specific dialogue is when you take a drink from Robert, you essentially get teleported to him, but because in the regular gameplay you would be right in front of him, you actually wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So you would essentially talk to him and then a new cutscene will begin where you're on the ground, but because we're moving with the dialogue, we're going to teleport from Dungeon 2 back to Robert. And I only have 2 text boxes to attack with before the third one shows up that actually teleports us. So here's one. Otherwise, I would need to take damage from that eyeball. And then, as you can tell, I need a key, but I can just go through the ceiling by standing right here and jumping right over that. So we don't need any keys for this specific dungeon. And then I use the second dialogue right here, because sometimes there's an eyeball there, so there wasn't one, so I can just waste that attack. And then, when we pick up this power-up, I use up the final text box. So you can't tell what's happening, but you can hear it, unless you can't hear it over my voice. I've now teleported back to Robert, and there you can see the cutscene happening. So here I am. I'm back at the beginning of where that text box was. So that essentially removes the entire walk back to Robert. Otherwise, we would need to pick up a key in order to get to the shrine in order to use it to exit. But why do that? Because that would also be slower when you can just turn around and go back. But again, by using that teleport, you immediately teleport out, and I don't have a lot of gold, which means I'm probably gonna have to farm. So here is another glitch. This is quest 1. You need to talk to that guy, and you also have to have an X amount of negative morality for that guy to give you the password for this door that we're gonna go up to right now. So I talk to this door, and then I cancel out of the merchant potion. So now I'm able to move with the door dialogue. And this door is basically telling us, give me the password so you can enter. And if you don't know what the password is, then I think you just get kicked out and that's it. You don't get a dialogue box at all. But in this case, we have the password. So the top, in quotes, I guess you can say, is the password, and the bottom is cancel. And so, assuming I can get to that spot, we'll end up using the password when we pick up the next power-up, which, as you can tell, everything that I'm doing right now is exactly what I'll end up skipping if I can get to that specific spot. So the reason why we needed the Thunder Spell is for this. This is Dungeon 3, but as you can tell, it's not here. You need to use Thunder in order to summon the dungeon. And there's no way to summon this dungeon unless you have Thunder Spell, unfortunately. Otherwise, you'd be able to skip Dungeon 1. And this is the hardest dungeon in the run, but it's also the last dungeon that you need to do. So I can't take damage at all other than the spots that I want to take damage in. Currently, I don't want to take any damage. So if I take damage at any point, before or after the first damage that I already do, that's basically a dead run, because at that point you're gonna lose time in hopes that you don't die, and it sucks basically. Wow, I got no money yet again. So we need to pick up that key in order to open one door. We take a damage boost right down here. Right there. You dodge the 2 harpoons. You move forward. You take a sip of your potion because we need to take damage again, and I can't take damage again. Otherwise, it's probably a dead run. And it's probably a dead run now. I open up this door. Okay, we lost time, but I got through it. The glitch is still not done. If I take damage at any point, I can no longer do the next part. Which is why I use Thunder there. Hey, so right there, I used the teleport, so now I'm back here. This is where quest 1 pickup is. This is the very first quest that you need in order to be able to finish the run. So we've lost a lot of time, but it's not really a big deal because I'm mostly showcasing what this is. And if you don't know where I am, I'm back here. So if you don't know where this is, it's right above the town. So I essentially ended up skipping about 15 rooms walking backwards by simply using that teleport right there. So this allows me to pick up the teleport spell, which I need in order to be able to beat the quest. So I do another glitch here. I talk to the old man merchant at the same time that I press start, which allows me to buy the power up without seeing the cutscene. And then I immediately go here in order to complete quest 1. So now we go and get Night Spell as soon as this cutscene is over with. Also, the game gets a little bit darker when you use that teleport spell without using teleport. So if you're wondering why does the game look a little bit darker, it's because of that. So now I need to buy the Night Spell, and thankfully the Night Spell is right underneath me, so I just go down here, do the same thing, talk to him while pressing start, buy the spell in order to not see the cutscene, and then I go back to Town 1. So in order to get to Town 3, which is the final town, I need that Sky Call power-up, which is this one, to allow me to go up. And then I burn this village using the Thunder Spell, because burning villages gives you negative morality. It gives you -2 morality, and we need it in order to get the 90 that we need. So now we're gonna pick up quest 2. Quest 2, we need to talk to this mayor. The mayor is corrupt as hell, and he's basically not letting his people do much of anything because he doesn't like them, I guess. He is with the bad people, which is what these hooded red dudes are. They're just red vagabonds. This is a shortcut that leads directly to this hideout. We talk to the mayor. We pick up quest 2. We exit from the right side because it's faster by using teleport than it is by going backwards. So we just do this, and then I jump and do that, and then I teleport these guys. So they need a sacrifice in order to do their evil bidding. And in this case, we have a choice as to who we want to give. Do we want to give the guy or the girl? We just do the first option because you waste less time. And that's how they summon their little red dudes. Gotta love game-breaking glitches. I know I do. So now we go to quest 3. Going to quest 3 is back to town 1. And quest 3 is over here. The only reason we can't go over here to begin with is because we don't have teleport, which is faster going back down, and 2, there's no shrine up here at all, so we kind of just go here now, because the closest shrine is in Dungeon 5, and that's just too damn far away. So what's cool is Swordcedor's sword is so long that we can actually hit that switch without having to buy the crow spell. So in order to get this switch and then a different one, you need to use a crow spell in order to press the switch for you. But his range for his sword is so long that he can actually do it without the need of buying the spell. So this is the 3rd secret hideout. If you don't have the amount of morality that you need in order to get the passwords and the quest, because both the password and the quest require different amount of negative morality, then you can't continue. But obviously this is a speed run, so therefore we have everything routed out. So now we need to complete quest 3. In order to complete quest 3, we go back to town 1. And we need a monk, which is located right here. And we use him to teleport to back to quest 3. So now we're done with the game. We just need to kill the final boss. So from here we go back to town 3 because we need to do another setup. In order to do that setup, we need a save. And then I need to press start at the same time that I talk to the shrine. And now I need to kill myself. And then as I die, I cancel out of the text box and then go back to the title screen to immediately go back in. Do that a second time, so now we have the glitches that we need. We talk to this old lady at the same time we use teleport, which now I'm moving with 2 text boxes and not 1. I have the shrine text box and I have the grandma text box. The grandma is basically saying, hey, do you want to sleep? And I say, yes, I do. But I don't want to say yes just yet. I want to take this dialogue all the way over here. We go down here. We do a mini skip here because why not? And then I go up. And then I say yes. So now it's gonna turn nighttime twice. I'm supposed to have picked up a power-up that lets me break these breakable blocks over here on the left side, which is a different power-up from the one that lets me break the blocks that are right in front of me. But this glitch allows me to go right through. And then I cancel out of that text box to transition this way. So now I go back to town 3. I make it back to day using that night spell that you saw me buy. This night spell makes it from day to night and makes it from night to day. So I just call it night spell because we want to remove night. We go back in here. We pick up this text box again from Grandma. But because of the glitch that we did, we can't press start anymore. So you need to do it using the teleport glitch instead. So what you do is you press the teleport button at the same time that you talk to Grandma. And if it works, Grandma will talk to you, and when you get rid of the text box, the text box telling you that you can't teleport while being indoors will be there. And then when you cancel out of that text box, and you press Y again in order to talk to Grandma, we get the text box that we want. So here, I'm going to say, yes, I want to fall asleep now. And what this does, it lets you skip 3 bosses and like 4 different encounters by immediately going to the last boss. So we went through a wall that we weren't supposed to thanks to a glitch. And this is Tancred. This is the final boss. If he ends up killing me, the run's dead. And using this thorn shield that we bought from the very beginning of the game allows us to stun lock his ass and get a new world record. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. Look at the amount of time save that I'm gonna get, which you won't be able to see. So now I just need to spam A, because the run doesn't end until I say yes, and that's a sub 32. A donkey Kong. Yeah. And we submit it to Robert. Wow, that was perfect. That's certainly the run that I didn't want that ended up happening. So the entire beginning is fine. Valshire Keep is fine. Combleton Necropolis, which is Dungeon 2, is all fine. And then, because I ended up taking damage, I went from -8 to +4, which is not fine. So the plus from that carried all the way to Night Spell, which is all fine because I did everything there right, and then I did Quest 2 right, and then I got more time save from Quest 3. So everything went perfect right up until the fact that I ended up taking damage in Dungeon 3. So it just goes to show how much time loss you get, but I got a new world record because no one's doing this run, and that's exactly what I wanted. I do know what you're talking about, Ascetism. But I don't know if you get negative morality just from saying yes. Like maybe you do. I remember looking into that, but I don't remember why I never did it. So there's that. But either way, I'm not doing this run anymore because I got 20 seconds better, and that's a sub 32, and I am very happy about that. 31:57 while explaining everything that I just did. It's a win-win situation for me, man. Now we can actually move on over to some to some classic runs. I like getting world records while explaining what I'm doing because it's not something that happens normally. But yeah, if anyone hang out from B-Boy Gage's stream, I like doing speedruns of Infernax. I also do some casual stuff. I also do some Mario, but not Mario Maker or Super Mario World ROM hacks. I do a different type of Mario. But once again, I appreciate the raid.